iPhone 16e is here, but is it worth it compared to the regular iPhone 16 or maybe even an older device? Let's find out. Before we get in too deep, if you want to keep up to date with the latest Apple news and reviews, hit that subscribe button. Many expected a new iPhone SE in 2025, but instead we got the 16e, the new phone that is more aligned with the higher end models than with the previous low cost SE. Now that I've been able to test it out, I want to ask the real question: is it worth upgrading to? Or are there better options, including the iPhone 16 or a refurbished one? The core of the phone is almost identical to the 16. It's basically the body of the 16, but only comes in black and white. They both have the customizable action button, which even works with visual intelligence. The screens are 6.1 inches, but there is a difference of a dynamic island on the 16 versus the notch on the 16e. The dynamic island has all the lovely effects and live activities going on, but it isn't a necessity. That's a theme that you're going to see here. There are things that are just a little nicer on the more expensive phone. If I compare the SE to the new iPhone 16e, it's such a night and day difference. It's now OLED, larger and more vibrant, and brighter. But the 16 itself is 25% brighter at 1000 nits compared to 800 on the 16e. Where are you going to see that matter? Mostly outside. Inside, your iPhone is rarely ever going to get up to full brightness. The 16 is also dimmer, which is a good thing. When reading your phone in bed, it goes darker as to not be too bright for your eyes. If you have a partner who's a light sleeper or a baby, this is really nice to have. What you do get though is a big upgrade. Seriously, how much better does this new display look? Between the larger size and OLED, it's a huge upgrade. It's also something you're gonna want to protect. My sponsor, ESR, has you covered, quite literally. They have all new cases for the latest iPhone 16e that give you easy access to the action button, support MagSafe, and exceed the military drop test standard by 7 times. The ESR Halo Lock Cyber Tough case is great, with a 3-layer design that has a PC backing, a flexible TPE softshell, and an inner poron lining. Most drops happen from hip level, or even at chest height. This has enough protection to withstand drops from literally 23 feet. The magnets are also ultra strong here, 1500 Gs, which makes it very secure when using a MagSafe desk or car charger. It's not going to fall off when you hit a bump. There's also a sleeker, clear backed Model 2, which I personally like the look of more, but that's just me. The best part of their iPhone 16e gear is the upgraded screen protector. It includes the Ultra Fit Tray applicator and is so easy to install. It even automatically removes the dust from your screen to prevent any air bubbles and easily resist scratches, like from the keys in your pocket. If you're getting or have an iPhone 16e already and you want to check these out, there's links in the description. So speaking of MagSafe though, that is one thing that cuts me deep. There's a lot of discussion on whether this was a cut too far for Apple because the phone itself does not support Apple's magnetic connection system. You need to add a case, like those from ESR. I'm a huge MagSafe proponent though. Apple says in their research, most buyers of this phone just plug it in at night and don't worry about it. It's hard to argue with that research from someone who always buys the Pro phone for my daily driver. I just want you to know before making a decision. If it matters to you, at least you know. It supports wireless charging at 7.5 watts, and if you want the magnetic connection, get a case. Otherwise, you have to opt for an older or upgraded iPhone. One of the biggest areas Apple skimps on is the camera, and we see that here with the 16e. It uses a smaller sensor, as you can see in the difference in the sizes between these camera modules. Yes, it is notably better than the old iPhone SE, but not quite as good as the pricier 16. And that's before you get into the fact that it's missing the ultra-wide lens entirely. Here are 2 photos I shot, one with each of the phones. See if you can tell which is which, the 16 or 16e. I'll show them wide, and then I'm going to zoom in here and show you some more of the details. Were you able to guess correctly? Let me know, and be honest, down in the comments. From far away, they look so similar, and that's in dim lighting. and I don't think a lot of people will care here. Those picking a more budget-friendly phone are not really pixel peeping. Just for completeness, the 16E also lacks the next generation photographic styles, cinematic and action modes, and only has 1080p for quick take video. It's a little divisive, but there is no camera control on the 16E either. Personally, I love it. I think it's the best way to open the camera, but it also makes taking photos quicker and easier too. It's a little fiddly to change the controls or adjust the zoom level, but opening and snapping can't be quicker. With literally a little touchscreen in here, I very much understand the omission here when they're trying to save some money. Lastly, the internals. iPhone 6e has 4 omissions that most people won't even notice are gone. The 16e lacks Wi-Fi 7, Thread, ultra-wideband, and millimeter wave. Those are more modern wireless connectivity standards that the bulk of users don't regularly use, if at all. And the phone runs on the same A18 processor as a 20% slower GPU though, but the CPU is the same. So let's sum this up. Is it worth buying the iPhone 16e, paying the $200 premium for 16, or getting something else altogether? The case for iPhone 16 is easy. You get a better display, camera control, a second camera, an improved primary camera, better wireless standards, MagSafe, and more for only $200. At the same time, there's a case to be made for buying just a refurbished iPhone 15 Pro for maybe $50 more than the 16e, and that gets you an even better ProMotion display, a third camera, a pro-level processor, and more. But iPhone 16e exists for a reason. People go into an Apple store or a carrier store and ask for a budget iPhone. That's where these things get sold in large volume. I'm actually very happy with what Apple put together here. It's most of an iPhone 16, but at a lower price. I can't tell you my grandmother or even my mother care about the ultra-wide lens, the dynamic island, or the camera control, or Thread. But it has the newest chip, which means it will get updates longer. It has fantastic battery life. And those are what those users will care about. If you've stuck around this long, you're probably capable of doing the research and finding the phone that makes the most sense for you, whether that's a refurbished one or an older device. But it probably isn't an iPhone 16e, but those users do exist, and there's a lot of them. I prefer a lower price. I like MagSafe, but I'll take what we got. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Be sure you subscribe for more Apple coverage, and I'll see you all in the next video.